What level of value are you bringing into the marketplace as an entrepreneur? Today, we are going to be diving into different level of value that you can bring into the marketplace, or let's say how you get paid in the marketplace. And this level of value is what is consigned as what customer pays you for. The idea that you bring in marketplace, that is what your intended audience paid you for, or whoever. It might be maybe you're working for an organization, or you render a service. People can only pay you so much based on the type of value that your solution or the service that you are rendering. Maybe let's take, for instance, two friends work in the same place. Now, at the end of the paying period, they ask, how much do you make? He say, well, this is all what the company pay. Then the question is that how much you make, or is that what the company pays? It's a, the parents say, no, I believe this is what company pays. But maybe it might forget that there are other people who has higher position and they get paid more than his own position. Or maybe entrepreneur who bring product or services into the market. Say this is all what the market can pay for his products or for his service. The amount of value that you bring or you create to the marketplace, that is what the marketplace pays you for. So we should leave the idea of the notion of what that is all what they pay, or that is all what your employers pay. It might be maybe you're working for an organization, you're working for a company, because there are some people who earn far better than what you are earning in that space. So let's take, for instance, you might see someone who go to the same school, graduate the same time, work in the same company, attend the same community, live in the same community. But at the end of the paying period, they pay one other person than the other. It can only be the level of value. Or as an entrepreneur, you see a similar company of yours doing the same thing, especially in the service-based industry. Let's say major consulting companies. You might consult a company for the same particular solution. Probably, company A might quote you lower, while company B will quote you more higher. But the level of the value that two of them bring on the table is going to be different. So in everything in the marketplace, we only get paid based on the value that we render. Let's say, for instance, another scenario might be someone who buy similar products. But the other product, when you look at the ingredients or you look at the instructions or the description of the products, has more, while the other may have lower. So people pay for high content, high results, compared to people who pay just because they see how the stuff work. And in the business world, that is how it goes. In everything, that's how it goes. That is how the nature of value works. So now we're going to be focusing on what type of level of value, or how do we see this value in everything that we do in our daily endeavor. We only have 4 levels of values, which is the implementation. Then we have the unification. Then we have the communication. Then we have imagination. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to go more in details about this level of value and what type of level of value you now fall into. So the level of value that your entrepreneur fall into, maybe you might started thinking and shift your minds on your current situations, because by the time I disclose this information, I started shifting your mindsets and see how best you can be able to offer more value. Because it's very good when you offer more value, then you get paid more better than what you have been paying for. So in this instance, I will be moving towards my screen and display the level of value and how this level of value can change everything, can change the entire ball game for you and your business. So with the implementation level of value will determine what we are going to do. The first level of value that we have, I'm going to draw like a tree, okay? I believe everybody see it properly, right? I'm going to drop a tree. So forgive me if I don't draw it very well. So more branches. Don't forget that we have 4 level of value. I believe. So the way we been paid in the marketplace, as I earlier said, is the level of value that we render. And smallest level of value that majority of people fall into is implementation. So this side is going to be implementation. I'll use different color for this. Implementation. Level of value. Implementation. Okay, level. Okay, I'm trying to see how best to make it. Implementation level of value. I believe you can be able to see it properly. People in this level of value are people who make in between, let's say, 15,000 to, let's say, 49,000, okay, per year. A majority of people in the implementation, they are very far from wealth creation. They're very, very far. And you can find them in the type of job, that you can find the people that make below this income. Maybe you find them like people who work in the restaurants. You know, restaurant people, they don't really get paid very well. Okay, 15K to 49,000, 49K per annum per year. So people in this area, let's say people who do housekeeping in the maybe hospital or facilities or in any organization, it might be a company, but like housekeeping people, restaurant people work in a restaurant. This set of people, the reason why they're making this income is that they are using their energy. They are using their energy in order to fetch for a living. And this energy that they are using it over the time because they are using their 8 to 5 hours in a day to make sure that they are able to make this living. They are working at a high speed. They are using enough energy. And at this level, people that work in this range, they cannot be able to really think out of the box because they are the only person who produce the resources, the financial strengths. And that is how, the employers just have to pay them. And again, if as a business owner, if you have a business and your business per annum is only making you 15,000 to 49,000 in a year, that means probably you are running a one-man show, maybe handy labor. So if your business is fall around handy labor, you can't make much money because it's only you that is doing the business. Maybe a supervisorship, who has not really figured out how to, embrace more opportunities, and their resources is very, very limited. They can make within this income. So it goes with both people who work for employers and a business owner as well. So not only people who work as an employer make this, but if you see anybody who fall in this level of value, that means they are operating at the lower stage of value to the marketplace. Then the second one, you're going to find it around the next phase of implementation is unification. So unification level of value. Unification, level of value. Level of value. Unification level of value. This set of people make around, let's say, around 80K up to 250,000. 250K per year. There's 15. This implementation means 15K to 49K per year. Okay. I know you can be able to say it. So the unification level of value, this part of position or this part of entrepreneur, you can find it around people who have, if is an entrepreneur, maybe people who has more than one teams of people who operate together. So the unification are people who manage other people's tasks. So it might be a supervisor, okay? It might be a project managers, okay, who manage projects, okay, or a salesperson, who work, or a manager. Majority of the people in the unification are managers, people who manage other people's tasks, whereby they report to the overall management. And we can see maybe general manager for Toyota might be making up to 250K. A project managers who manage other developers, who manage other people, who oversee. So now it's not working really hard compared to implementation, because it unify other people, it bring other people together, other people report to him why he reports. So he's using his level of knowledge here. He's using his level of knowledge, like skills. This part of side, it comes with skill sets. Okay? Because before you can be able to manage people, you must be able to have the skill set to do so. So this is where skills, this is where skills come in place as a skills. So it might be whatever skills that you have to allow you to manage more set of people. On the implementation, it's called physical labor. Physical labor. So on the implementation, because they are using their physical strengths to be able to generate the revenue, and that is how they get paid. Why on the unification, they are using there's a skill set here, that allows them to make that much, but way above what implementation is making. This is still a pretty decent income, but again, it's not that really pretty. But at least it's way, 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 way far beyond implementation. And if you're an entrepreneur, let's say an entrepreneur who can fall within this range, let's say a group of, let's say an entrepreneur who have a team, maybe a bookkeeping firm, who have 3 or 4 employees or 2, 3 employees or contractors who work together. Or he might be a janitorial company who have other people, that he employ or he subcontract in order to do the job. It might be many, many businesses, as long as you have more than one, it's not only the person who does the job, it has more than 1 or 2 people who go after to make this thing work and report to him. And he make above, up to minimum of 80, 100, like 6-figure income. Yes, you can find yourself in this space. Now, we now go to the next phase of unification is communication. Especially, you can see that there's a way, way more gap in the aspect of the money they are making. So even if you find yourself and you discover that you are making below 100,000, you are making below 80,000, you're making like 40,000, 30,000, you are making, and the average American make around 49 to 55,000 in a year. And because of this, and that is the way the system was designed. And now, if you're an entrepreneur or you are like individual, W2 workers, and you're making this kind of income, how do you want to grow it? Because how do you want to grow wealth? So people who make this income, wealth is very, very far from them. Either you are individual, either you are entrepreneur. You cannot be able to grow wealth because you want to multiply how many hours it takes you to make this money over your lifespan. So it's very hard to create wealth. And in an entrepreneur gives you rooms to do everything that you want to do, enjoy the beauty of freedoms while you create wealth and make more for yourself compared to traditional way of making money, which is called W2s or contractors. Now, or working for people. Okay, now the next layer that is above unification is called communication. 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 Level of value. Level of value. On the aspect of communication, these are set of people who use their mouth, they use their voice, they're like influencer, they control the crowd. And majority of people that you can find in this, as a matter of fact, in the aspect of communication, they can make minimum of, let's say, 500K per annum. 500K to, millions, tens of millions, okay? Millions, per, per year. And the part of people that you can see here, let's say, musician, let's say YouTuber, podcaster, sales, because sales has level, they operate on commission. People who use their mouth, vocal, to make things happen, because they produce with their little time, they produce with the power of compound. So if you find yourself, okay, in this type of arena, then again, okay, again, you know, motivational speaker, let's say speakers, author, like people who write books, people who speak, they speak in the events. This set of people make minimum of 500,000 to million, tens of millions in a year, because they are communicating with the power of audience. And it's very, very huge. And this part of people, they create the stuff, they make the thing. All what they spend their time is how to create things. And when they create the thing, they bring it into the marketplace, not for the benefit of themselves alone, but for people, more people around them. So this set of people are the communicators, because they are people who are blessed, to inspire others. These communicators, they consider themselves as the servants, because the more you serve people, the more the return comes to you. So you can literally see how this level of value affects everything that we do as an entrepreneur, as an individual. So it's just the way it is. And the more you discover yourself, either you are an individual, either you're an individual who work 8 to 5 job, or you're a business person. The moment you are making up to this level, then you want to discover what part of level are you creating in the marketplace, because marketplace can only pay you based on the level that you bring in. Then nobody's going to pay you higher than what you want. They only pay you based on the solution that you are rendering in the marketplace. So, as I say, the first level, the lowest level of value is implementation. This set of people makes 15,000 to 49,000 per annum per year. And they work on a low level because they use their physical labor to make an ends meet. Why the unification level of value? They maintain skill sets because they coordinate with other workers that is below them to give a report to their superior, to their higher boss. So this set of people, they are skills-minded people, and they in between like 80,000 to 250,000. Even some can even make more than, more than 250,000, up. But when you're talking about the communications are people who use their vocal, they use their voice, they are influencers. They influence the crowd, they create things, they make things, they develop things for not only them, but for more people. And as people are taking advantage of, as people are making use of those things that they create, and don't forget, they might just create something in one time. Let's just look at a musician who sing. I'll take, for example, Michael Jackson, because I love him so much. His name still continues because he creates something. He sing. We listen to the song, and the more they see selling the record, they selling the song, the more money is still going to his heirs, his generation, the people that leave the ways behind, or whoever. Like, what about authors? Authors, they have some books that have been written for so long. People still purchase it. People still purchase it. They still leave a mark. They leave a mark. Not only them leaving a mark, but they just create a generational wealth compared to implementation. Because implementation, When they don't work, they don't get paid. And they cannot duplicate the time because on the aspect of communication level, they are using everything that they have to buy more time. Why they spend that time to create that particular thing that's going to make, that the public is going to benefit, not only public benefit, but them getting a residual royalties on it. So check the podcast. People listening to podcast. You turn your radio because the amount of time that you drive within a day for your commute, from your work to your house, if you turn that amount of time that you drive and you listen to podcast, you might at the same time gain a qualified hours of study in the university in terms of degree. Because when you listen to stuff like educational resources, things that change your life, that had more skills, and value to you without you going to the traditional settings of teaching, is valuable. So, podcaster, for you listening to it, the person who creates that thing, that podcast, and with the amount of, subscribers or viewers or listeners, that is how they get paid. Same thing as YouTube. You create videos, you put it there. So people who communicate, they make minimum of 500K to millions to tens of millions, depending on, how those things that they create perform within the period of year. So speakers as well. Speakers, you can attend, they call you for different kind of, speaking gig, and you make, more because you change. As people call you, people get to know who you are, people hire you. They are not performing, they are not hitting their residual, their income on the strength. They are only using their mouth, to communicate, and they get paid for just talking. People write books, they put ideas together, they craft, some compelling stories, what other people can learn about themselves, what they have learned, what they have not learned, what they take other people's information, gather information, put the information together so that other people can be able to benefit. And in doing so, they have created impact because it's just literally like a traditional way of learning as well. Because if I can buy a book that talks about health, and how other people's health has been challenged, or about a book about how to create wealth. After buying the book, I go through the book, I read the book. I already gain more skills, more knowledge. I add to what I've known before. And now by so doing, people who pay, who purchase it, I'm going to pay for it. People who create it, get some royalty, get some pay. So over time, they create their money, they create their wealth. Then if you're a business owner, depending on the level of the business that you are doing or level of service or product that you bring the marketplace, if you find yourself in this, that means you are creating an impact, you are creating a value, then people pay you this so much. And a company can pay you this so much, even if you are in sales, depending on how the level that you bring on the table. So these three levels are one of the first, second, third levels of value. Then the prime level of value is called imagination. Imagination level of value. Level of value. This right here, these are called the visionaries. People who envision, people who see beyond, people who always find solution when there's a big problem, when there's a need. And this set of people, they don't even start, they are like they are in the aspect of, I just say millions, okay? They just start with millions, right? Millions up to billion, trillion, and so on. Million ups, million ups. They can make hundreds of millions, They don't even make tens of millions. They make hundreds of millions. They make billions. They make trillions. And one of them might be even Steve Jobs, Brigade. Because all they have to do, they call them the visionary. That's only one word I'm going to use for them, visionaries. They are the top notch. They sit down, they look, they foresee the sufferings, the pains, the challenges that humans are passing through. They craft a solution like, okay, we know our people are passing through this, they are passing through this. What if we go this way? How can we address this problem that people are facing? They go on research. They develop years upon years, putting resources together. But in these aspects, they do a lot of trial and error because they fail and fail and fail and fail and fail. But as time goes on, they will get it better. They test it. Before you know, they make it happen. And when they make it happen, they don't do it for only themselves or their family. They do it for everybody. So on this aspect, they create for the masses, for everybody on the planet Earth to benefit, to enjoy. And the more people benefit it, because it's called for general public consumption, because we know this is a problem. And in addressing this problem, is going to be able to better our people. It's going to make our people to accomplish, to achieve what they are pretty much looking for. Then, what they have to do is they go in a research, they go in a long-time study, and they bring the solution to the table, they test the market. Once it works, then the sky is just the beginning, not the limit, but the beginning. This set of people make hundreds of millions. So they are hitting per year start from million, not thousand, not tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, start from millions and tens, hundreds of million, billion, trillion. So you can now see this level of value, how with the ways everybody are being paid in the marketplace. You can never be paid what you don't earn. You can only get what belongs to you. And you cannot, outsell the market, because the market already know what you want. If you're an employer know what you want. Just imagine people who working on the imagination, on the implementation level of value. People work in a nursing home as a janitorial, housekeeping. You can't expect your boss or your hiring manager to pay you $80 an hour if your hour starts from, let's say, $13 or maybe $15 or $20. You can't expect your manager to go and pay you because you don't even have the skill sets. You can't be able to do the duty of that area, of that sport, that will make it to earn that much. That's why when people said, you can be able to find two people, they go to the same school, finish the same thing, they work the same job, but they give the company pays. When the company pays, they say, how much they pay? You say, well, the company pay me this. Say, no, the company only pay you what you want. So in the marketplace, we only get paid based on what we want. You can't, no additional, nothing attached to it. You only get paid what you want. And if you are selling a product, you are selling the services, customer can only pay you based on the solution you are bringing on the table. If you overprice your solution, customer is not going to be able, they will not pay it. They pay for the result. So the result is the value. What the customer pay, they pay based on the result of your thing. So if the result is not up to the standard of what the customer will pay, then they cannot pay it. They only pay you based on the actual results that your solution, perform. So if somebody tell you that, well, this is what I get paid from the company, or this is what I make from my business, all you have to do is to let them know that this is what your business pays you based on the value that you render to the market. So as an entrepreneur, now that you already discovered that the level of value will bring some more how we get paid. So it's not a new thing that we should now consider that why customers are not paying us more than what our product or service is worth, because we just identified the reason behind it. So if you know this video, you have learned one thing or the other, do not forget to subscribe and do not forget to like, comment, and ring the bell so that anytime we release a great content like this, you can be the first to know. Until then, we look forward to see you in our next video. Stay tuned and be blessed by the best. Peace.